once she opened up. NEPTUNE, THOM, RUHE, thank you for joining us in the HUBurban. Thank you for joining us at HUB and at RTP. I will say that normally when I'm interviewing someone or when we're talking with someone, I normally have the best name, or Sarah normally has the best name. Ray Trapp and Sarah Chick.
I know where you're going with this.
But I think we lose this time.
Uh-oh.
I think with NEPTUNE and THOM, RUHE, yeah, I think we lose this time.
Now, credit where it's due. It's NEPTUNE. That's the coolest name on here today.
It has been a fun name to grow up with, I tell you that.
I can absolutely imagine. So, all that you do, Tom, you at NC Idea, Nick, you at Wake Up Wake.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just get right into it and talk about the triangle. Talk about the region.
Yes.
I think one of the things I think is authentically accepted in this region is work-life balance.
Yeah.
There's your three words, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's a great place to work.
Mm-hmm.
It's an awesome place to play with all the options you have, right?
Mm-hmm. My first word, joy. Okay, I'm going to start with joy. It is, I wake up with joy. Okay, and in all seriousness, because you step out, whether it's downtown or at any one of our parks, any one of our performing arts centers. I mean, it is you're constantly coming into contact with just joy. Another word that comes to mind, excitement. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of energy right now. You've got all this sort of new talent, folks coming in from all across the country, all around the world, joining us here. I mean, the region is growing, as we know, and of course that comes with attention. But that's also, it's like this, there's an energy and an opportunity there, right? To harness that energy and to sort of reinvest, right back into us as a people, as a community, as a culture. So I think there's excitement about that and about, participation in all of that. And maybe that's like the last word that comes to mind. It's about participation.
Yes.
To me, when I think of places and spaces like RTP, connecting, the triangle, connecting this region. I mean, I think it's literally all about creating new forms of access and opportunity for folks from all backgrounds to further participate in this growing scene. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Well, I'm just going to spin on your participation word and say it in a different way, and that's equity.
Yeah. Yes.
Equity is just such an authentic value.
Yes.
In the triangle, but also statewide. I don't know if it's the time. I don't know if it's just everybody's feeling kind of this historic opportunity.
Boom.
But there is an authenticity around participation. Equitable access. Coming together. We're stronger together than we are in our own little silos. And having done this kind of ecosystem work all across the country and frankly around the world, I have the benefit of knowing what's here is special. It is not common. It should be more common, but it isn't.
And I've lived this life of learning, working, and just participating right all throughout the state. Because the access and the opportunities have been presented, right? They have been shared with us, and you talk about like we're living it. I mean, the state motto, esse quam videre, to be rather than to seem. I mean, we are living it out, and like people talk about what's the real difference between yesterday and today. The difference is we are here. Okay, we are increasingly at the table, participating and building and shaping our community, and reinvesting in our culture. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm all about.
Actually was founded to have an economic development footprint on the state of North Carolina, not just the region. So partnering with you all has been tremendous for us. So if you can talk a little about that partnership and what that looks like.
Sure. We've been blessed to have the foundation join us in our statewide ecosystem partner network efforts. And specifically what we're really trying to do there is level the playing field across the state, right? If you're here in the triangle and you're trying to start and grow a company of high potential, high economic potential, there are so many resources and assets at your disposal.
Yes.
I mean, it really is one of the richest entrepreneurial ecosystems in the country. But that isn't the lived experience throughout the state.
That's right.
Especially when we consider our historically underserved populations, geographies, and we have over the last 6 years built up this network across the state of supporting organizations that are helping people start and grow companies of economic impact, but culturally, locally relevant.
Right.
We don't presume to sit in the triangle and say, hey, all of you down east, right, in Robeson County, just do it the way we do it here in the triangle, right? Bring a few hundred very accomplished professionals as mentors together and hold events where you can put 1,000 people in the room, right? It's not even an option for a lot of these parts of the state.
Right.
So we had to figure out a way to engage people and unlock their potential, but do so in a way that's relevant to them where they are.
Yes.
By having the foundation as part of that, you've been able to expand our reach, right, and our capacity to do more, and remind people in the state how fortunate we are that we do have this asset, this economic development asset known as the park. But the benefit of that cascades way beyond, the boundaries of Wake and Durham and Orange County.
Yes. Nick, talk to us about some things that you're working on organizationally with Wake Up Wake, and I know you're all over the board. You're doing amazing things with the city of Raleigh and cycling, bicycling, and looking at things through many different lenses, which, of course, ultimately economic development, all of those things play together.
That's right.
It's all a part of it.
That's right. Wake Up Wake County has been around as a nonpartisan nonprofit since about 2006, and really began as a coalition of residents who they could see the growth coming. I mean, in 2006, 2007, they could see the writing on the wall that people were about to start moving, by the busload into, Raleigh, Wake County, into the region. And so, folks just got organized to advocate and speak up, on, housing issues, transportation, transit policies, just advocating for smart, sustainable growth policies that both the city and the county could take on in advance of this growth that was coming. So it means a lot to me today to be on board with Wake Up as their associate director for advocacy and education, just kind of continuing that work, because as many folks know, at the end of the day, when we talk about the city, you talk about the county, you talk about the state, these are human beings. These are human beings, whether it's with our staff or folks who are elected officials. These are human beings who, they need all the support they can get in terms of maintaining that connection back to those of us who are living this out, impacted by the policies. Anything we can do to kind of close the gap between the values of a community and what we want to see, and the policy making and the decision making that affects us all, advancing these policies in a way that truly meet the needs of folks all across our community. Right? I mean, you want to see investments in transit and transportation that's accessible to folks of all ages, all backgrounds. You hear what I'm saying? And it means a lot to me to be a part of that work, a part of that effort with Wake Up Wake County.
What don't they tell you about North Carolina? And Nick, you can feel free to share too, because as a native North Carolinian, we know things, and it's like, well, you don't understand this about my state. And you're looking at it one way, but let me tell you the truth about your misconception about my state.
Well, what I'd like to say is I'm North Carolinian by choice.
There you go.
I love that. I love
you
that.
had the benefit of being born, North Carolinian, but I'm here by choice, which means I got to use critical thinking and look at data and say, this is a place I want to be. Really, when you get to the meat of your question, what didn't they tell you? It's the heat, right? We left Northeast Ohio to escape the winters, which are great.
Right.
But now it seems like we've traded winter for North Carolina August.
Right.
Which makes me understand why some of us a little more delicate folks from up north find an excuse to go up north around August time frame.
Yes.
To get a little cool down. But yeah, the heat.
I love this question, and it's a funny one to try to respond to, given that just so much of my lived experience is based in the state. But that said, I grew up with family on my mom's side in Washington D.C., in our nation's capital. I grew up with family on my dad's side in New York City, and I look back on visiting with the family, just falling in love with these, major metropolitan areas. But then, as I've gotten older, actively choosing to come back and stay in North Carolina. Right. It's like, I meant it when I said joy.
Right.
I meant that. The thing is, you can't fake that energy.
No.
You cannot fake the energy that you feel when you come across people. I meet strangers, in restaurants, bars, at parks, and we just strike up a conversation. Here recently during March Madness, I can't tell you how many random people would just, because I might have a Tar Heel shirt on, and they say, "Go Heels," and you can't fake that energy. And then even people, around the corner, they say, "Oh, go Duke, though! Don't forget about that!" Right. And it's all with a spirit and a joy that you cannot fake that.
That's right.
So people know about basketball country, people know we barbecue country, but it's also true that there's an energy here that I don't think you're finding it anywhere else. People are ready to come out here, they're ready to collaborate, they're ready to connect with each other. That's the energy that we have.
That's
so
right.
I would just invite folks to come on down and visit. You might not want to leave.
What do you think special about RTP, or what are you excited about when it comes to the uprising of Hub?
Yeah,
that's a great question. Well, I'll tell you just out of the gate. RTPs is right in the mix. How do you beat that dynamic of like truly being right in the middle, right in the mix of everything that's going on in this region?
Right.
Whether it's the research and the sciences, the academics, or just the business opportunities, But then I also love that through Hub, I feel like there's sort of a doubling down on investing in a community,
yes.
With housing and mixed use development and
right.
Food, beverage, music, art. Like every time I come here, there's like, oh my gosh, we got to get the gang out here.
Right.
There's even more reasons to come through and participate, if not live,
yes.
Out here. And so I think that folks, if they hear this, if they see this, the sense that I get from RTP through the Hub and through all these sort of related ventures, people can come through here and participate
yes.
in building and shaping what's coming. And that's a unique time of life in the context of a growing space and place.
Yes.
I tell you what, sign me up for that life.
The Hub is going to be yet another beautiful gem in a necklace that has many gems in it. Like
yes.
what the Hub is going to do for the park is just going to be, again, taking it, we're already at like a 9.8 and it's going to take it to an 11.
Yes.
Which is great. More broadly to the question about RTP is the fact that, Ray, with you joining and taking this focus to be broader, to remind people of the mission, right? That it expands beyond the park. When I go to Warrenton, right? Yes. And I can see, Frontier at Warrenton, like
right.
That's a few miles away from where we are right now, right?
Right.
And making people understand that potential, I think, will help us tear down these barriers, right?
Yes.
Where there's this perception of kind of like the triangle versus the rest of the state.
Right.
Right? We have to understand we're all part of one state. And when something goes big in the triangle, that still puts tax dollars to work in rural communities. I used to say tongue in cheek, if we have a company, a startup that has an exit, it's going to help fill a pothole, right, in a rural county.
Yes.
But that nuance is manifested with RTP expanding
yes.
and being seen, incredibly engaging, outside, the boundaries of the park itself. And that has been one of the most exciting things I've seen in the 6 years I've been, fortunate enough to be at NCIDEA.
Something I appreciate about our region and just frankly the state, and I think this is a part of the appeal for folks. You move out this way, and what we present you with are options.
Yes.
We present you with options as to where you choose to live and where you choose to, work and play, and increasingly we're trying to make investments so that you have expanded options as to how you get around.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it's through bus or rail, we know that as a growing region in the context of climate change, we've got to make investments in more, attainable, affordable, transportation, mass transit options for folks. But bottom line is, we just present you with options. So whether you want to live out in a more rural part of the region, or if you want to live in an urban area, I mean, we've got options for you.
Those options really, they boil down to de-risking, the region for people that are considering coming here. I'm very fond of saying our greatest natural resource is the entrepreneurial potential of all people.
Yes.
Right? Of equitably engaging everybody in their full potential.
Right.
And so with a population that has more options, they can look at what's happening here and say, you know what? There's so much there to offer. There's so many options. If my initial thing that brings me down here doesn't work out, I'm going to be okay. Right. Because there's plenty of other things going on, great organizations that are going to welcome me with open arms, and a population that's going to do likewise. So, yeah, let's do that. Let's go to North Carolina.
Thank you both for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As always, if you need anything from us, just holler.
Thank you.
Thank you.